Felipe, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to talk. Could you tell us how blockchain relates to financial inclusion?
I think we're seeing really interesting possibilities of financial inclusions for communities that have been marginalized from the financial system. Refugee populations, migrant, undocumented populations who were asked for collateral or asked for different types of guarantees for being included financially. I think these open internet protocols are going to allow the provision of loans and even equity investments using cryptocurrencies to communities and organizations that couldn't access it before. As supply chain transactions and origins and the origin of raw materials and inputs get into a blockchain accessible system, not only will information be available to more stakeholders, information will be available on a more real-time basis, but with a lot more certainty of its traceability. It's having, right now, there's very interesting pilots in terms of impacting the origin of conflict minerals. We're starting to explore also how to use it for artisanal mining and fair trade gold. I think it's going just to create new opportunities and a whole new playing field for traceability and supply chain mapping.
What are your thoughts on blockchain as a mechanism of transparency that will help generate trust that everyone's saying it will?
One of the areas that we're really enthusiastic about is on putting the information on natural capital that is currently in the commons into an open internet protocol or a blockchain database that is accessible by all stakeholders. Right now, information about water quality and soil fertility, or even pollution or emissions, is siloed across different databases that sometimes are in governmental agencies or in even in the private sector or civil society organization. But I think we could be moving very fast towards a world where everybody could access data that has been uploaded into a blockchain, and that it's not hackable, and that it will give us a picture as to where we stand in terms of natural capital availability and to make smart natural capital based decisions.
Can businesses, or will businesses be able to use blockchain data to help communicate their sustainability?
Yes, I think it's going to yes, I think it's going to amplify the possibility of mapping their supply chains and telling the story of impact across capitals in their supply chain. I think it's going to help them also have a better understanding of the sustainability context. It's very hard right now for an organization to say, hey, this is where my supply chain is present, but I don't have the information on living wages in that particular territory, or this is where I'm collecting water from, but not to have access to water scarcity information, or even the rhythm at which the reservoirs are replenishing themselves. So eventually, as we move the natural capital data into blockchain databases, it's going to be a lot easier for businesses to understand the sustainability context, but also for providers of financial capital and consumers to make the right decisions.
And what are you working on in the blockchain world?
One of the pilots that we're looking into right now is, I think it mixes the two first topics that we talked about, and it's financial inclusion and supply chain sustainability. So what blockchain did with Bitcoin, or what it allowed Bitcoin to do, or other cryptocurrencies, is the creation of tokens. So we're working with major players in the consumer goods industries in a couple of pilots in terms of the small farmers that provide the inputs. If they have sustainable practices, if the co-op or if the small farmer, small and medium enterprises, if they're having good sustainability practices, they can gain tokens that can improve their access to their clients, but also that it's going to give them a differentiated access to financial inclusion. So it's a triangulation between the major buyer, the producer organization, and the financial institutions that are willing to provide capital based on tokens of good sustainability performance. In many respects, it's like tokenizing impact, and it is exciting.